Good evening and welcome. Glad to have you with us tonight. We're just going to give a couple of minutes just while people are logging in, because we know what it's like. Of course, it's the evening time. People run home, grabbing dinner, getting family sorted, and then getting settled. So if you want to grab a cup of tea or coffee, whatever, make yourselves comfortable. In a couple of minutes, we will get started, and we're going to be talking about building a LinkedIn profile that works. So as you're waiting, I'd love to know where you're watching from. I'm presenting from Plymouth, down here in the southwest of England, and so I'd love to know where you're watching from. We are going out tonight. Predominantly, this is on behalf of OxLEP, and so we're aiming at the Oxfordshire area, but we're aware that this goes out on a LinkedIn event, so it does pull in people from various locations. So do me a favor, drop your name in the chat, let me know where you're watching from just as we're waiting, and we'll get started in just a minute. You will probably have noticed on the bottom of the screen there, it's advertising the peer networks. I'll mention that a little bit later, but that's one of the great tools that is available to anybody in the Oxfordshire area. If you live or work in that area and you're looking for that business assistance and help, peer networks is a fantastic thing. Along as well, they've got business tools and all sorts. I will mention that a little bit more before we get going tonight. But if you've just joined us, welcome. It's good to have you with us. And let's get settled in. Let's get notepads, pens ready. If you've got your LinkedIn profile available tonight and you've got it up on a separate screen, maybe on a tablet or on your phone even, you can follow along and even make the changes as we go tonight. But the aim is to get you in a position where your LinkedIn profile is working for you rather than against you. And I will unpack that a little bit, because there's a number of people I see on the platform who haven't done the right things with their profile, and their profile is actually damaging their chances of connecting, networking, getting conversations, all of that on the platform because of what they have or have not done. So I can see a few people coming. Oh, someone from a man in Jordan with us. Well, that's a long way outside of Oxfordshire, but you're more than welcome. It's great to have you here tonight. So anybody else watching, who's here from the UK? Let me know in the chat. It'd be great to introduce yourselves. Let me see. As I said, I'm broadcasting tonight from Plymouth in the southwest, and so it'd be great to know where everybody else is watching from this evening. So I'm just looking at the stats there. We've still got one or two people still joining us and just getting settled in. And so as we do that, we will start in just a few seconds. Just want to make sure everybody's here and settled before we get going. Okay, so the numbers joining us now are starting to slow down. So I'm going to get going. I'm going to start into the presentation. You're here tonight because you've registered for Build a LinkedIn Profile That Works. And so we're going to taking the step-by-step, looking at different elements of your LinkedIn profile and how to best optimize them, best use these fields that are available to you to attract people to your profile, to get the attention of an audience on the LinkedIn platform. Before I get into that though, let me just say this tonight is sponsored, and we are presenting this on behalf of OxLEP, who are there driving economic growth. They are focused on businesses that are in the Oxfordshire area, and so we're working with them. We've been working with OxLEP now for maybe over 3 years now. It's a great organization, a great team. And so if you're looking for business support, if you're looking for that little bit of a help in business, whether it's practical training, whether it's support, whether it's funding, that guidance, then go and get in touch with them. You will see. Let me just put this up. This is Peer Networks. This is one of the tools that is available, one of the services that you can connect and get involved with. You'll see on the bottom of the screen there, oxlepbusiness.co.uk. Go check them out. There's some great resources available to you. So, just before we actually get into this and why you should use LinkedIn and everything, let me introduce myself formally. My name is Terry Heath, and I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Maverick. And I've been doing LinkedIn training now for coming up 3 years. I'm just really helping individuals, businesses, whether they be corporates or even the small business, doesn't matter. You can all use LinkedIn for business, for leveraging, whether it's networking, whether it's for sales, whether it's to be a leading voice in your industry. You can use this platform very effectively as long as you know what you're doing. So tonight, we're going to look at the very beginning, the building block of a LinkedIn profile and how to put that together. Everything else is built upon that, and I'll explain why it's important. So why LinkedIn? Why should you have a profile on LinkedIn? Well, first and foremost, it's voted the most trusted platform. You've probably had experiences with Facebook, Instagram, and all the rest of it. It's quite clear that LinkedIn is a very business-oriented platform, and it is and has been voted 2 years in a row the most trusted platform out there. The 100 million new users joined this platform in 2021, which is phenomenal. I know the year previous, 2020, it was 62 million. So you can see the growth that this platform has. And of course, we know why that's been accelerated. A lot of people moving to digital platforms, and LinkedIn for Business, it's the number one. So that's why a lot of people are here. There's now over 800 million users globally across this platform. So it is huge and it is growing. In fact, I think it's heading towards 810 million, the last figures that I actually saw. And of course, why are people using? Well, recruitment, sales, networking, as I mentioned, being a leading voice on this, getting heard and seen. It's a fantastic platform for that. So why is a good LinkedIn profile important? Well, with over 800 million LinkedIn users worldwide, you want to stand out, don't you? You don't want to get lost in the crowd. There's a lot of people running around the platform. There's a lot of people with their profiles on this platform. So what will make you stand out? And we're going to look at that and unpack that tonight, and hopefully get you in a position where you are one of those that stands out on the platform, looks professional. One of the key things that you need to know, if you're going to be using LinkedIn for business in whatever element, or even recruitment, whatever it is, when you send out connection requests, when you interact with individuals, when you send them a message, they may not know who you are. And so what are they going to do? They're going to click on your profile and check you out. So that's why your profile needs to be in good shape before they arrive. The statistic that's out there, 62% of LinkedIn users say they vet profiles before deciding to respond or engage with an individual. 62%. So it's not a case of putting messages out there and they will just read it and accept it. They will actually come and check you out. So we want to make sure we have a good LinkedIn profile. So why is it important to optimize your LinkedIn profile? Well, very simply, a bad profile is going to do a number of things. One, it will limit your profile views, because people will arrive, incomplete profiles, no headers, no profile pictures. People just read that as this is a dormant account. It's an account that never got finished. It's never been completed. So why would you connect with this account? So it's going to limit the profile views. There's nothing going on. There's nothing to pull people in. Information is missing. The SEO factors, all of that is missing. Those keywords that help you be found are missing. So it's going to hinder your search appearances. People are not going to find you at all on the platform if the right information isn't there. And of course, that has the consequence of stagnating your connection growth. Because why would someone connect with you? Incomplete headers, no profile pictures, lack of information in your profile. People are going to make that decision when they arrive and go, okay, why would I connect? Let's make sure. Ultimately, that can damage your brand. Now, if you've spent thousands of pounds, dollars, whatever it may be, investing in a great website that's really slick, eye-catching, really engaging, gets good retention rate, people stop, stay, spend hours on your website. They then look at other social media platforms, but then they come and find you on LinkedIn and they find an incomplete profile. They find that a profile that's not really well put together, not really well worded, the structure isn't really good. It does something to your brand. It harms it. It also undermines you as an individual and your credibility. You can flip all of that around though, once you get it right, where you're increasing your profile views. This is the number of people coming and finding out who you are, checking you out, reading up on you, doing the research. They will be attracted to your profile. They're going to find you through the search appearances because the keywords are there. You're going to increase your connections, increase your brand awareness, and it will help you increase your credibility with individuals. So if it's for sales, with prospects, when they see a good profile, it helps with the credibility, and of course that helps with future conversations about business. So let's get our profile in good shape. Let's get it optimized. to help us. But how does your LinkedIn profile work for you on this platform? Well, simply put, when you've got your profile set up, there are elements that follow you around LinkedIn when you do certain activities. Your profile picture, your name, and the headline underneath, normally the area where people just put your job title and company, those three elements follow you around LinkedIn. It will follow you every time you post content yourself on your feed. It will also follow you when you send connection requests. Of course, your connection request goes out and your picture sits there and your name is there. When you leave a comment on somebody's post, again, that's what's there. It's the profile picture. And when you send your direct messages after you get connected with people, people will want to remind themselves, who are you? So they're going to be clicking on the available information, which is picture, name, and the headline. So we want to make sure all of this is in good shape, because if this is going to follow you around LinkedIn, this is what people are going to see time and time again as you interact with them. So let's make sure it's good. Let's make sure it's right, and let's make sure it's communicating a message about who you are and what you can deliver. One of the things I often say when we do a lot of this training and when we work with companies and individuals is think of your LinkedIn profile as if it was your personal website. What do I mean by that? Well, if you were to put together your own website, what would you be thinking about? Well, when somebody lands on it, what is the message that you are communicating? What is that key phrase, that statement that you make that they remember when they leave your website? What about the colors, the imagery that you're using? What is it that catches the eye? What is it that gets them to stay and engage further with that page when they land there? This is what you do on a website. Let's do the same on our LinkedIn profile. Let's not waste the opportunities, but actually get the LinkedIn profile in good shape. So, question then comes, what makes a good LinkedIn profile? Well, one of the decisions you have on LinkedIn today is that there is a choice of two different types of LinkedIn profile. You've got the default mode, which probably a majority of people have, and then you've got creator mode. Creator mode was introduced back in March 2021, and it's there to encourage people to actually create content, write posts, put up articles, all those sort of things onto the platform. Because this is one of the things that you need to know about LinkedIn. It's a content-starved platform. I was checking yesterday, on LinkedIn, you can actually look, if you have a Sales Navigator subscription, you can go into Sales Navigator and you can search how many people on LinkedIn posted any content in a 90-day period. The current figure, just 16 million people. 16 million. Remember, there's 800 million users on the platform globally, but only 16 million of them are actually posting any content in a 30-day period. So, you want to be one of those people that's out there being seen. Your content can help you get there. I'm not going to get into content right now, to be honest. That's a totally different webinar, but you've got an opportunity. What I would encourage you, if you haven't turned on creator mode, turn it on. Why? One, you will get access to LinkedIn Live. So if you're brave enough to get in front of a camera, as I am today, and present to an audience, you can do that with creator mode. You get access to newsletters. Now, if you're like me, you're probably a little bit tired and it's getting a bit tedious, the amount of invitations you get to subscribe to someone's newsletter. Well, that aside, newsletters still have a use and a place. If you're willing to invest in the time to create the content to put out on a regular newsletter, you can create an audience and speak to that audience through newsletters. That's available in the creator mode. You also get access to a wider audience. Now, I've done a little bit of a test on this. I've got a large network. And so what I see when I post with creator mode on or off is the difference of around 1,000 to 1,500 more views on my posts. Now, if your network is much smaller than mine, you might see the difference between 200 or 300 views on a post. But who doesn't want more views on their content? Of course we do. Use creator mode for that purpose as well. You will also have the opportunity that you could be featured as a suggested creator to follow. LinkedIn will actually promote you as someone who's speaking about their industry, speaking about the sector that you're in, the specific topics that you cover on a regular basis. And LinkedIn will say, hey, come and follow Terry Heath. He talks about social selling. He talks about marketing. He talks. and you will be suggested as well in good time. There's a whole lot more new features coming under the creator mode in 2022 as well. I haven't got much time tonight to go into all of them, but go and have a look, check them out, give creator mode. I'll show you where you can turn on creator mode a little bit later in your profile if you're not aware where to do that. So let's have a look at some of the basics and then start right at the top of your profile. On the screen right now is actually, this is my LinkedIn profile. This is just a screenshot I took this evening. And so there's some things I want to point out and tell you why I've done that. The first thing is this area here. This is known as the header. Now, this is probably the largest area you're going to get to market and advertise what you do. So use it wisely. The cardinal sin is having the default blue LinkedIn background. That just sends the message that you haven't completed your profile, and this profile might even be dormant. It's not even in use because it's not completed. So get some content in here. Even if at the most basic level, it's some sort of imagery that relates to the industry or sector that you're in, and it's got your company name on. If that was the minimum, then get that up there at least. Your company name will be seen. But if you can, or you've got the ability to do it yourself, or graphics teams that could help you with this, then get a custom banner made, a custom header made. As you can see on mine, there's a clip of me actually doing this. Actually, ironically, it's me doing this presentation last year. Then we've got the statement of who we are. We're the UK's #1 social selling training and consultancy company. And then on the side here is the Social Selling Accelerator Live, which is one of our programs that we run. So I'm providing a lot of information in there. There's tagline at the top, grow your margin, revenue and profit. And there's our website, and the people within our organization are part of the Forbes Agency Council. And so we are making sure that we're marketing. When people come, I want their eye to be drawn here. The first thing, I want them to remember this statement, be intrigued by what this is, and see that this is what we do. I've got an image. I do a lot of training, so why wouldn't I have an image of me actually presenting a training on there? Use this space. Use it wisely. Think about it again. If this was your website, when they land, normally the eye is drawn here. If there's some content here, this is the first area that people look at. So what's that statement? What's that thing you want them to remember should they leave your page straight away? Make it bold, put it there. Make sure that your text is big enough to read. Don't make it so small. I've seen that on a number of profiles. The text is so small, you can't read it. Remember, people are accessing on mobile phones, so make sure it can be read. So think wisely about how you're going to use that. Next thing, your profile picture. Now, if you've been around LinkedIn a long time, you've probably seen a mix of good and bad LinkedIn profile pictures. The one that has made me laugh the most was working with a really senior gentleman in a rather large corporation, working on his LinkedIn with him. And his profile picture here was of him on holiday, relaxing with a cocktail in his hand, just putting his hand up as if to say hi, looking warm and friendly. The problem was he was not the slimmest of gentlemen, and he was wearing a rather skimpy pair of swimming shorts. I did suggest to him that probably was not the first image he wanted to put into the minds of the people who were researching him or coming to look at his profile. Thankfully, he did see the funny side of it and has updated it since. But here's some guidelines about your profile picture. Make sure that your face fills 50% of that frame space. Make sure your face is well lit, and you're just looking straight down the camera. Just look warm and friendly. You want to look inviting. I see some profile pictures that I look at the picture and the person looks like they just want to kill me. It looks aggressive, and you're put off by that. Remember, first impressions count, even in digital spaces. So let's make sure that the picture is done. Another tip, make sure it's a current picture. Make it genuine and real. You don't need to have it airbrushed and all the rest of it to make you look 20 years younger or 20 pounds lighter. Just let it be you. Hopefully you're in a position one day where you're going to actually connect with people and have video calls, meet them in person even. It'd be nice if they actually met the real person. I've had a number of experiences where you get onto a video call with somebody and suddenly go, ooh, that's not the person I saw on LinkedIn. This person is a lot different. Be genuine, be real, just let it be you. Also think about your background. Don't let it be too distracting. Sometimes I see people with all sorts of crazy backgrounds and the eye is actually drawn to what's going on behind them rather than the individual. You want the focus on you. Let them see you. It's you they're connecting with. Probably an example of that one, a real extreme example was, I remember seeing somebody who was very proudly putting up a photograph of them on a holiday at Niagara Falls. The picture was 90% waterfall. And it was them, almost pin-sized, little image. I couldn't even make out their facial features on the picture, even when I clicked on it and blew it up into a larger size. Let's be sensible. 50% fill the frame, well lit, smiling, looking down the camera, very simple. You can do this on most smartphones today. The cameras are of such a good quality. You don't need professional headshots, but let's get one up there and make it very approachable and clear for people to see you. The next area down here is your name. Now, I'm a great example of this because my full Sunday name is Terence Paul Heath. You know, that thing that my mother uses, that full title when I'm in trouble, even at the age of 50 plus. But when I introduce myself anywhere, I will introduce myself as Terry Heath. That's how everybody knows me. So if I was to come to my LinkedIn profile and I put my official title in there, Terence Paul Heath, but everywhere I go, I introduce myself as Terry. What are they going to use as far as information to try and find me? They will use the name I introduce myself by, which is Terry Heath. And they're going to struggle to find me because on LinkedIn, I put in Terence Paul Heath. Make it easy for people to find you. Don't complicate it. An example, if you're a Christopher and everybody knows you as Chris, then it's Chris in your last name. If you're a Deborah and everybody knows you as Debs, it's Debs and last name. Make it really easy. A couple of more tips on your name. Avoid putting your qualification titles after your name. All you are doing is complicating the algorithm search to find you. You're putting more characters in there, more stuff in there. And the real cardinal sin is, please don't be tempted to go and put emojis in the name field. They are non-searchable characters. So again, you're just complicating the search function and people being able to find you. And there are a lot of people who just see emojis on that line. It's quite unprofessional as well. I'm undivided and have no real opinion on it other than I leave emojis out. I want people to find me very, very quickly. So then we move down to this part here. This is what we call the headline. Now, most people on LinkedIn will have their job title and then they'll have the company name, and that's it. Well, that information really can be found lower down in your profile in the experience section anyway. So my title is I'm the Chief Operating Officer, so it's COO at Maverick, so it's nice and short. So that's why mine's there. But then I'm using the rest of the space available to me to let people know what I do and how I can help. Of course, I'm repeating UK's #1 social selling training and consultancy company, proven and effective social selling strategies for entrepreneurs and enterprise sales teams. So I'm telling people, this is who I work with, this is what I do, this is what I can provide. It is a repeat of that, but this doesn't follow me. My face, my name, and this follows me around LinkedIn. So every time people bump into me and they see this, I want them to read it and remember it. So it's almost like the old advertising. You've got to be repetitive. Excuse me. Repetitive, repetitive, repetitive. So let's make it in there. What do you put in there? I often get asked this. Well, here's the challenge. If you could sum up what you do for people, how you help them in one short sentence, that's what you put there. Now that's a challenge, I understand that. And you might be thinking, wow, that's a little bit of homework I need to do. But it's really worth taking the time to do that. Sum up, short sentence, or a couple of key phrases that sum up what you do and how you can help people. People will remember it, and it's key information for them, especially in their decision process, how they want to connect with you, do they want to converse with you on the platform. So make sure it's good and clear. So these are the main elements: your header, your profile picture, your name, and this title. You want to think about those and how you put those together on this platform, and make sure that they're good, So as they follow you around the platform, they're working for you, not against you. Again, I didn't mention it, but the profile picture, if this is just the blue circle that you get when you first register, again, I personally, if I find that and I do not see the person's face, I don't click connect. I don't connect with them. They're either not serious about LinkedIn, they haven't completed their profile, or potentially this could be a fake account. So let's get the faces up there, let's be real, let people see who you are. Just one other thing about this, and the best way to illustrate this is actually to go to LinkedIn. Let me bring up LinkedIn. Let me go to my profile, and hopefully when we arrive, there you go. You may see it's actually scrolling around there. If I refresh again, you'll see that there's a very short little video runs in the background behind the profile. This is called the cover story. If I click on my profile, there you go, I can view and edit my cover story. It's a very short video that we've created in-house and we put up there, and it's just an advertising tool. It says, are you fed up with cold calling? Well, book a meeting with Maverick and we'll show you how to do an alternative way of selling, which is called social selling. And so we run this in the background behind our profile pictures. Now, I've seen various forms of this. I've seen some people who just literally take their phone, or they'll have it on a stand somewhere, and they'll talk to the camera just for 10, 30 seconds, very, very short. I saw a humorous one the other day where somebody basically was miming out who they are to to a popular song. But you can use it creatively, depending who you are, your industry. Obviously, if you're somebody in the artistic arena, maybe an actor, comedian, or something like that, then you can use this very well. Maybe profile very quickly who you are, what you do, little snapshots, footage maybe of you doing what you do. But if it's there, use it. It's opportunity for you, again, to sell yourself, be seen, and be noticed on the platform. Okay, just let me go back. Right. Let me just talk now quickly about the About section. The About section, it's a key area of your profile. Why? Well, people are going to check you out and want to know who you are. So one of the areas they're going to go and check out is your About section. What have you done? Who are you? What are your skill set? Those sort of things. They're looking for that information. On mine, I purposely got mine set out where our company is talked about first, then myself. That's your preference. You might want to spin that round. You might want to just talk about yourself, depending on what the purpose is of being on LinkedIn. But you'll notice that the way that I have this set out purposely is line spaced. I'm making it very easy for individuals to engage with and read. Remember, anywhere, it doesn't matter which social media platform, if you have large, chunky paragraphs of text, people rarely engage with all of it. They get one line in, two line, and then they're switching off. So let's play to that. Let's line space what we're doing, make it easy for people to engage. But effectively what they're doing psychologically is they're making micro commitments to read a line. It's just a short line, I read it. Oh, it's a short line, it's 3, I can do that. It's not even 3 full lines. It's one. They're making those micro commitments, and so they engage with your profile, they engage with your About section. In here, you want to be using keywords. So think about your prospects, the audience that you want to speak to. What are they involved in? What are their challenges and their problems? What is their industry? The words that relate to those topics should be seen here in your profile and in your About section. Some of those elements I will include in my headline, that one-line statement about what I can do and how I help. I make sure that's in there, but I also make sure that they're named in my About section as well, because they're searchable fields on the platform and people will find you because of that information. So make sure that's in there. Structure your About section so it's easy to read. Obviously reference your company and yourself. If you're out there selling particularly, I use bullet points. Just a headline, achievements and things like that, just makes it easy, again, to engage with. But one of the things I would say is avoid the overuse of emojis, again, in your profile. 1 or 2 there, not a problem. But if it's heavy emojis, you find that actually starts to turn the majority of people off and they will wander away from your profile. We want them to stay, we want them to find out. Another area of your profile. Now, some of you right now, if you're looking at your profile, might not even have this section switched on your profile. To switch it on, as you've scrolled down the page, you will notice at the top, let me just illustrate. As I scroll down, you'll notice that a bar appears. There you go. And I can add sections to my profile. I can add different things in. So if you haven't got it, I encourage you to add the featured section in. To really activate it the first time, you have to add a piece of content in there. Now, to add something in, you simply hit the plus button, and you'll see that on there, if you hit that, you can add a post. So you might have had a really successful post on LinkedIn, something that really communicates a key message, and you want that to become a piece on your featured section that people visit regularly. It might be an article, something you've written long form, evidences your expertise or the expertise of your company, and talks about that. It could be case studies, things like that. You can put links to your website, you can put links to specific landing pages, links to videos, anything that basically has a URL, you can put that in there and direct people to it. And you can upload video and different types of media as well on there. But effectively what you've got is a shop window. Now, if I actually, just let me go into it. If I click on to all of my featured, I effectively have a carousel now of various elements, different things that we do. Things that people can engage with, people that they can click on and find out more about us. The first one there, Fundamentals of LinkedIn. That's a digital course. People can come and find out more about it. They can purchase that, download it, and learn about LinkedIn at their own pace. The next one underneath is Velocity. Velocity is a program for enterprise entities and larger companies where we work with teams and we basically coach and train teams through in social selling. And so I'm profiling who we are. So think about how you use this section. I've seen it used in a number of different ways. A really good way, I saw one company we were working with, they were putting up case studies. So each one was a different case study of where they worked with a business, looked at the problems, brought solutions, and what the outcomes were. That helps because people see real life cases where the products and services that you offered have been implemented and what the outcomes were. So of course in those scenarios, for those individuals researching, they see real life examples now of what you've been talking about, and it becomes real to them. They can now see it in their own situation. So case studies are great. Feedback and testimonials as well. Quite similar, can be used in this area and done. I've also seen it used where people, each one of these will be a different product or a different service. So again, a bit like the shop window effect, people are putting up the information. But the important thing is whatever you put in there, obviously is adding value to who you are and what you do, the products and services and how you help people. So use that section wisely. A minimum, I would say, of 3 things in there, even if one of them is just a link to your website, one of them may be a link to a post, one of them might be a link to a specific page on your website, a product or service that you have. But let's get that populated, let's get it activated if you haven't, then get it populated so people can access the information. It's quite key. The next bit is your experience section that I want to cover. Now, my basic advice about here is, as a minimum, include the past 3 roles of companies, depending how long you've been with a company. Don't be too concerned about your work history. I often get asked this. It's like, well, I used to work at McDonald's before coming here, and now I've been here 10 years. Well, don't be scared to put McDonald's on there. It says that you can handle fast-paced, high-turnover business, that you've got an experience of that. You know, so don't be afraid of that. A great example I once had of that was working with an individual who was now in sales, but he used to be a nurse. But what won him a contract one day was the fact that the client had spotted on his LinkedIn profile that he'd worked for quite a number of years as a male nurse, and therefore understood his products. It was all medical products, understood his products, his problems, because he'd been front line in the health service. And the person who purchased from him said, the reason we chose you, because you understood by your frontline experience where we are and what we want to achieve. So that's why we chose you. So his past experience worked in his favor. So Don't be afraid of that. Put it up there. You don't need to mask it or be ashamed of having worked at McDonald's or KFC or wherever it is. Some people will attach PDFs. Again, it could be case studies, it could be evidence of qualifications, whatever it may be. And sometimes there's a small narrative about what their role was in there. You can put it in there. I prefer not to, purely because people can see my work history a lot quicker. If I fill it up, then of course it's disappearing off the page the more they do that. But that is your preference. You decide. If you're looking to be recruited, then you might want to put a lot more information in your profile. If it's from a sales perspective, then that isn't as important, as they can see your work history and what you've been doing, but actually it's higher up in your profile that they're probably more interested anyway. Okay, I did say that we would look into an area where you can turn on the creator mode, and that is actually here in the dashboard section. I now have this section. This is the new section. You will find on LinkedIn they've been rolling out and making some changes in the last few months, and a number of people have noticed that this old dashboard, some of you might still be looking at this. On here it's a light grey. On some people's profiles it's still like a beigey cream colour. Whatever it is, you might see it and it looks like that, and it will show you different fields and gives you different things. If you have the old dashboard, you will find somewhere around here there is the option to turn on creator mode. If you have the new analytics sitting, I think it's just above that. In fact, let me just check on my profile. I think it's sitting just above that. You can actually, no, actually it's just below. So just below the analytics, you can go into and turn on creator mode there. So that's where it is. Turning on creator mode takes you around about 5 minutes to do. You click the button, you have a number of fields to put in there. It'll ask you to put in 5 hashtags. Those hashtags are what are the topics you talk about, and that is displayed on your profile so people understand what it is. What is your focus? What are the key things that you will discuss and talk about on your profile? And then I think there's a couple of other features that you can turn on or off, which is your preference, and then it's live. Once creator mode is on, it will change your profile slightly. So you'll see that the content that you put out on the platform is presented far more clearly and far more easy to access for people who visit your profile. You'll also find that at the top of your profile, if I scroll up on mine, actually, I'm not a great example because I'm looking at this as an admin. Let me see if I can just find, let me find my colleague, Dean Seddon, as an example. If I go to Dean's profile, there you go. It's actually showing here the followers rather than the number of connections at this point. Because the creator mode, when it changes your profile, it gives people not the option to connect first, but the option to follow. What happens by them following you when they click, I will follow this person, the algorithm will actually promote your content in their feed. They're effectively saying, I'd like to hear what Terry is saying, or in this case, what Dean is saying by following. It's not until you actually connect that then there's a two-way exchange of content that is going out from each person's profile. So following, they'll see your content, which is actually what you want. And then there's a natural process. If they're following you enough, then they might send you a connection request if they wish to connect and they like what they see. So it will change your profile slightly. Let me just get back to my own profile. There we go. Into that area. And so we want to make sure that's done. Now, let me just go back into, I'm going to flick backwards and forwards here quite quickly. But I want to point out that there are 3 key fields. They're the same on both the analytics or the old dashboard display. You have who viewed your profile. Who's been coming to your profile and checking you out? What's going to drive people there? Well, it's going to be the content that you post. People will go, who wrote this? Who is the author? Who's behind this? They'll come and naturally check you out. If you send connection requests, they will come again, and they'll be one of the individuals who viewed your profile, and they'll come and check you out. You will also have, when you leave a comment on someone's post, you send them a direct message. All of those interactions will prompt people to come and check you out and will show up in this field. Let me just flick back to LinkedIn and show you, because it's quite important to take notice of what's going on in this field. When I click onto it, the first thing that it will bring up is a graph, and it's showing me the number of people who've come to my profile in a 90-day period. So I've got quite high, don't be put off by that. I have a large network that I've built over many years, but you may see that might be in the low hundreds, you might be achieving the thousands, whatever it may be. But I can see here that I've got peaks and troughs. I can track back here and I can probably show you the content that I put out on this particular day, which was, what was that? The week of November the 25th. The content that I put out that created a spike of people coming to my profile. If you're first starting on LinkedIn and I want to use my LinkedIn profile, really get attention, then what you're going to find is you start posting your content, getting your profile in good shape, is you start down here at a 90-day period, then you should have a nice steady line just curving up nicely as you're building momentum of people coming and checking you out, looking at your profile. And you want to see more and more of that happening. You will see underneath that there are some subsections. It will break down for you people who come. So if you have a number of people from one particular company come and check you out, I've got Maverick in there. We're always doing searches and looking around our profiles and working on our profiles. So it's telling me that 16 individuals from our own company have visited my profile in the last 90 days. It's grouping them together. It's worth checking that out. If you start to see company names appearing on a regular basis, why are they coming to your profile? Who's checking you out? If you've got 16 individuals from one company, that's quite a lot of people. Why are you attracting their attention? It could be worth you visiting that company page, finding out more about them, and looking for the key people, the decision makers to actually engage with and talk to. So look at that. Now, one of the other things is, and this is one of my daily habits, is I can look down here. If I keep going down here, I've got a subscription with LinkedIn. So I can troll back days, weeks, even months, and have a look who's been coming to my profile. It'll show me the individual profiles, and I can click on any of them and check them out. It will tell me if they're first degree, second degree, or third degree people who's coming out. I make it my daily habit to come and check this for two reasons. One, I want to make sure that the people who are being attracted to my profile are the right people. It's the right audience. So I'm looking for people who are in senior positions in probably larger companies who are involved in sales, marketing area, that sort of area. That's what I'm looking for. If I suddenly see there's lots of car mechanics and window cleaners coming to my profile, something's wrong with my profile. Something may be wrong with my content as well. I'm attracting the wrong audience. So take notice of what's in there. If you're on a free account, then I think you will see the first 5 or 6, the last 5 or 6 people who visited your profile, the most recent people. Even that is worth checking on a regular basis, because I tell you, one of the things that I notice when I do this, 2 or 3 minutes a day is all it takes me just to have a little quick, who's been visiting today? Who visited yesterday? And what happens is I see a pattern, because certain faces become memorable, and then I say, oh, they were here 2 days ago. They were here 3 days ago. They were here 4 days ago. Okay, that person is now on my radar, because why are they coming to my profile? What's attracting them? What's bringing them back time and time again? If I've not come across them before, I'll do a little bit of research, because potentially I've got a warm contact that I can engage with, and potentially there could be a business conversation somewhere further down the line. I've already got their attention, so why wouldn't I take some notice of that? While I'm here, let me just go back, and there's the other field on the other side of that analytics or your dashboard, which is the search appearances. Now, search appearances, a little bit like who's visiting your profile, who is doing a search in which you we're a part of. So they're using keywords, they're using certain criteria. If they're using Sales Navigator, they might be looking for geographical locations or seniority, industry sectors, whatever it may be, and you're being found in there. It will actually give you a rundown who's actually been finding you recently in here. And so, of course, Maverick, I always expect to be somewhere in that top 4 or 5 because we're doing searching all the time. But I've also got Lumen Technologies. I'm not aware who they are, but I'm interested to know why I would be appearing in their searches. Recipe, I know who Recipe are. This is one of our clients we've been working with quite recently. So I understand why they're doing more searches right now and why I may be appearing in them. QSP, obviously outside of the UK by the wording there. I don't know who they are. And I've got Upwork. They tend to jump in and out of my list. I do get a lot of people from the Upwork network coming in and having a look. But from time to time, those companies will change. And I always take notice, who am I being found by? A little bit like who's visiting my profile. Am I attracting the attention of the right sort of companies? And having a look. And if I see the same companies turning up time and time again, that's a great indication for me is I've got the attention of a particular company and I'm finding myself in their search lists. So let's go and find out about them. Let's find the decision makers within that company and let's strike up a conversation. If you go further down in that section, you've got other pieces of information that are available to you, what the searchers do. For me, salespeople. But again, are the right sort of people finding me? I'm being found by the salespeople, the founders, marketing specialists, executive directors, business strategists. They're all the sort of people I would expect to be found by because of my role and my purpose for being on LinkedIn. Even at the bottom here, it's giving me a short list of keywords that the searchers have used, which are in my profile. Company manager, chief people officer. I'm not sure I actually have chief people officer in my thing, but owner and managing director are all fields that I would qualify for and would therefore be in the searches. So use the information that is available to you and make sure that your profile is working for you. You are attracting the right companies, you are attracting the right sort of people to your profile. Okay, we've got a few minutes left. Let me just talk to you about this. On LinkedIn, like every other social media platform, you're going to get those who use the platform for the wrong purpose, should we put it that way. They are there, they're trolling, they're pulling off publicly available information and stuff like that. Well, one of the things, and let me just demo this for you. On LinkedIn, you may or may not be aware of this on your own account. Let me pick on Aaron here. Aaron is a great example here. So I recently connected with Aaron. Aaron has a small network. I can already see that. It says 244 connections, but you'll see they're highlighted in blue. If I click on that, I am now in Aaron's contact list, his network. Using the features at the top or the criteria, I can change. I'm not interested in the first. I'm saying the second and third people. Now I have a list of 217 individuals that are in his network, his personal network, and I can see them all. If Aaron was my competitor, I now have access to his contact list. The people he potentially is talking to right now. I can walk through this right now. I could use location data and say, right, okay, so tell me how many of those are just in the United States. I've got 152 of those individuals. In fact, let's flip that around. Let's have a look who's in just the United Kingdom. There's 25 individuals. And I can literally scroll down right now and have a look at these individuals. And I might decide that Joe Linsky here looks an interesting person. Click connect, and I can be sending a connection request. We've got real life cases where clients have said to us, look, we used to do a lot of business with this individual or this company, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you just seem to stop. And I would say, well, who are your competitors? Let's have a look at your competitors. Let's go find some key people. And I'll find their connections and I'll look and I'll show them and say, look who's sitting inside of their connection list today. The person they used to do business with. It happens. So you want to stop that happening to you? Here's how you do it. Go to your profile, Go to your settings and privacy. Once you're into this section here, on the left-hand side, click on visibility. Once you're in there, go down to connections. It'll open up and yours probably says yes. Click it and change it to no. It will shut that down and then it just appears as plus 500 connections grayed out. That's all anybody will ever see. They can't get in to your connections. They can't be running around and pinching basically any good prospects for themselves. While you're there, there's an option at the top that I just want to cover and talk about. Because what I've just told you is a little bit of a tip. If you want to build your network with good prospects, then potentially those that are sitting inside of your competitors' accounts are a good starting point. But of course, you don't want to let your competitor know that you've been stalking around their contact list that they've left open. So there is a way that you can actually go into a dark mode or incognito mode on LinkedIn. At the top there, while we were in the visibility section, you have your profile viewing options. At the moment, mine is set so that you could see me. So if I visited your profile, you'll see my profile picture and my name, and my headline will be there. But I can switch that and change that so that all you would see is it'll say somebody from Maverick. But I can go even further and go into total private mode, and I can run around LinkedIn doing stuff, liking stuff, and all anybody will see is an anonymous person on LinkedIn liked your content, commented on your content, was on your profile looking, and they'd never know who I was. So if you want to have a stalk around people's accounts or do things, if you're looking to be recruited, here's a tip. Go into private mode if you're doing your research and looking at other companies, because you might not want to let your employer know what's going on and you're thinking of moving. You can do that sort of work and activity as well. So always remember though, once you've finished that, come back, reset that to show your name and your headline so that people can find you easily and see who you are on the platform. Okay, let me go back to LinkedIn. Here we go, I'm back into my profile there. So that's the basics of getting a profile right on this platform. Think about your header, get your profile picture right, get your name as people know you, and that headline that just makes that statement. What is it that you do for people? How do you help them? Make that statement that is memorable, that people can pick up on that information very, very quickly. Think about what's in your about section. Think about how much information do you want to put in your experience. Think about that featured section particularly. It really is one of the key areas that a lot of people miss out, is just making sure that you've got your shop window filled with products or services, case studies, testimonials, whatever they may be. It's there for people to find and access easily. Remember, whatever you do on LinkedIn, people are going to remind themselves who you are by visiting your profile. Not once, not twice, but multiple times. If you're using LinkedIn for sales, then you have to understand people will come back to your profile, not once or twice. They're going to come back multiple times. I do this. I connect with people. I get into a conversation. Then I have a conversation with half a dozen other people, and that person then messages me back. And I'm thinking, hang on, who was this again? Which company was it? People of similar names. You start to mix up, or they were in that company. No, they're in that. What are you doing? You click on the profile, you go and remind yourself. And the very act of driving people to your profile through your content, through your messaging, through your interactions that you do, means that every time they visit your profile, they're likely to be learning something. You become more memorable. The company name, your name, your face becomes memorable to these individuals. And here's a tip. If you want to genuinely connect with people, to have a business purpose further down the line, don't do what most people do, which is, oh, he looks interesting, send a connection request, blank. It's cold connecting. Why would they accept that connection request? They have no idea who you are. There's no relationship, no nothing. Here's a tip. Go and do the exercise of check them out. You show up on their profile, who viewed their profile section. Go and interact with their content, like it. comment on it, because you'll show up on their profile. So you can then choose to follow them. You might even tag them into a post of your own to let them know that you exist and you compliment them, quote something from one of their posts, anything like that. You're basically getting their attention. But what you're actually doing is creating awareness that you exist, they become familiar with you, then you send a connection request. Why? Well, because the time the connection request turns up, your face and your name is familiar. Hopefully they know something about the company and the products and services that you have to offer, and therefore their decision process, do I accept or ignore this connection request, becomes far more easier, and they're more likely to accept you, and you can build your network with hopefully a whole bunch of people you can build relationships with and have conversations with on this platform. Okay, I've got just about 5 minutes left. If anybody has any questions, just in this last 5 minutes, more than happy to answer them. Check somebody's profile out, give any tips, anything that you'd like. What was that? VSL and Partners. Terry, I just had to check my header. No text, just a photo. I will need to rectify this. Absolutely. Hopefully, if that's the one thing you went away with tonight, you get that sorted out. You will find it will help you attract more attention on the platform. Remember, 800 million people on this platform. You need to stand out. Remember also that 16 million, that's all, 16 million. I know that sounds like a big number, but in reference to 800 million users, when only 16 million are actually posting content in a 30-day period, I would encourage you, get your profile sorted out and start talking about what you have to offer for people, your evidence, your expertise, your value proposition, all of that through your content and by posting on LinkedIn, and you will find that you will attract the attention of your audience, and you'll be able to just instigate new conversations that lead to future business. Hey, it's been great to be with you. What's that question from Thomas Mardy? Is Navigator worth it? Thomas, yes, but you need to know what you're doing with it. It's a big search tool and has a whole bunch of other features, company mapping options and all sorts of different things that you can use it for. So if you want to know more about that, Thomas, at the end we'll put up an email address. You can get in touch with me, and we'd be more than happy to direct you to some resources that would help you with that. But upfront, Sales Navigator looks expensive. But if you're using it correctly and cannot generate enough business to even pay for the subscription, then you probably need to change what you're doing in business, because it is a fantastic tool that helps you target the right audience and create the opportunities for the right conversations on this platform. Could you please show again quickly how you hide your connections? Yep, absolutely. To hide my connections, go to my profile, go to settings and privacy, then come down to visibility, and then to connections, and change that to no. So profile, settings and privacy, into visibility, on the visibility on the side, then in that middle section, move down to connections and change it to no, and now your connections are hidden. It's straightforward. Okay, I think let's have a final check, see if there's any more. Brilliant. Do you review and provide guidance? We can do. If you'd like just a quick overview of your profile and receive just a few tips and hints, again, get in touch with us. Let me just put up, there we go. There's an email on screen. You can contact me on. We'll get that arranged. Doesn't take very long. We can give you some tips and hints that will really help you on LinkedIn, how you can improve your profile, and hopefully position you a lot better to be noticed and found on the platform by the right people. But thank you very much for being with us tonight. Thank you for your patience and staying with me on this Thursday evening. Remember, go visit the OxLEP website. They're a fantastic organisation who are really doing some great things in the Oxfordshire area. Just look out for their peer networks and their business tools that are offer. Information's there on the bottom of the screen. So go and visit them, get in touch with them, and just discover if you're in that area. But for now, thank you very much for being with us. This will be available as a replay, so if you've registered, we'll send out a follow-up email and make sure you've got that available to rewatch. And if you want the slides that go along with it, again, just email us at hi@maverick.io, and we'll be happy to send that to you. But for now, thank you very much for being with us, and I hope you can join us again on another one of these OxLEP sessions. Thank you.